Good morning. Welcome to Friday. It's 12:12, so it's good afternoon up there. It's good morning down here. It's 11:12 down here. Um, I'm astonished. I said this the other day. I talked to friends of mine, and I'm astonished that Biden believes he can still win. Now, I understand the reasoning behind it, that he doesn't want to feel like he was forced out. But if he gets elected, they're going to force him out. They'll end up forcing him out anyhow. They'll have to use the 25th Amendment if he doesn't resign or just plain, unfortunately, pass away. Uh, this is a. I don't know how unique you can call this situation, but it is a situation. The Olympics are coming up, and the similarities between Hitler and Trump begin to come more apparent. Trump doesn't like black people. Hitler hated black people. And in the Olympics, Jesse Owens beat what Germany thought was their top athlete. And that wasn't the only black man to beat a white representative of Nazi Germany. And Hitler went berserk, you know. And I'm of the opinion that if they end up going with Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris becomes president, Trump's careful when he talks about her, because his racism will come right to the top if he gets into it. And I think he hasn't picked a vice president because I don't think he wants one. I think he wants to be the almighty and set up a family succession, I think that's what he's working to. Although they won't let him do that. The people behind him might actually have him assassinated because I think he's a little strange, and in 4 years he's going to be a whole lot stranger. But we can't do anything about that except vote, and that's a very important thing. I don't believe, as some people seem to think, that if you vote for Joe Biden, you're wasting a vote. You're not. Okay? The Democrats will take care of that they'll remove him or whatever if they have to. But he isn't making straight executive decisions. That was pointed out to me. He has a group of people around him, just like Trump does, helping him to make them. Only it doesn't seem that they're. I'm not sure him withdrawing from the race will make things any better. Will guarantee a Democratic win. Trump's got a huge machine working for him. And, it's made up of basically cheaters and liars just like himself, People should start wondering where they're putting the Proud Boys. Where are they starting to gather? Where are they going to be when the elections are held, I don't think they'll be in D.C. I'm hoping that the U.S. Army's got enough balls to stand up to this guy. It should, know the restrictions that they have on them. I don't know how that's going to work out, We're going to have National Guard units fighting National Guard units. All it takes is one shot, It doesn't take a military unit against a military unit. It just takes one shot to start a war. Look at World War I. It just takes one shot. One little incident can set off the end of the world. Or the end of a country, anyhow. Oh, boy. My only salvation is football season's coming. July 26th, I think begins the training camps. And I'll have something else to talk about. And I think they're looking forward to that too, because I think they want to stop talking about politics. It's not a healthy thing to talk about. Oh God, I wish I wouldn't do that. It's not a healthy thing to talk about. As you can see, it bores me because I'm repeatedly saying the same things over and over and over, and it doesn't seem to sink in. Now, I've heard people say, that we don't have to get rid of Trump. Biden, I'm sorry. And yeah, you could be right. Like I said, but it's a question of perception, The world is scared. Everybody's nervous about that. And it's all about perception. He could be the sharpest hack in the book who can't just express himself, And that's just perception. The perception is that he's a sweet old guy. And that's not what you want, You want somebody that's going to, take Trump out behind the outhouse and kick his ass. That's what you want. I don't know whether we have that in anybody out there, I've looked at these candidates and there's not enough in-depth study of anybody for me to make a decision as to who I want. I don't care if it's Kamala Harris. I just don't think she can win. And if she does win, Trump is going to go absolutely batshit. He got upset when Obama was a president because he was a black man that was more popular than he was. You imagine if Kamala Harris wins, okay? I just can't. I can't see Trump's mind staying together. I just see him going absolutely off the deep end and taking everybody with him and just, gun battles in the streets again. We'll have a civil war that's based again upon racial issues, which I find. You claim to be a Christian, or they claim to be Christian, and they don't meet the definition of the word Christian. And all I know is that they can't last. Even if they gain power, they won't be able to last. Because first of all, you've got a guy that's going to be the president that sits there and tells you he admires little Kim and the way his people sit straight up in front of him at attention when he speaks. Well, first of all, the military. And the military is different than civilians. If they were civilians and they did that, well, then there might be something to talk about. But it's military that's doing that. All right? Those are the pictures he sees of those standings that he referred to as they sit at attention. If ordinary people are doing it, they're doing it out of fear. The military doesn't do it so much out of respect as fear. Because if they don't do it, their mother might get shot. They might get shot. That's a different government. That's not even totalitarianism. That's a straight up and down dictatorship, ruthless in the way they handle their people. And in order for this country to survive, or any country to survive, you need a divergence of thought. You can't have one way. You can't have. Look at the economics of the dictatorships that exist today. Most of them are in Latin. There are a couple in Latin America, and the rest of them are overseas, or in Africa. I'm not so sure about Hungary. Used to be. I don't know whether it still is or not, because I haven't seen anything in the news about them for a long time. This little guy that just ran in and ran out was Lucy. She came in to say hello. She does that every once in a while. She has a bed in my office that she uses sometimes, and then she has a bed on my bed that she likes, that she really loves, which I'm happy for her. You know. Anyhow, I lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you get old. That's where I get my problems exist, is that I'm quite easily distracted, and then I lose my train of thought, and I have to go back. I mean, and you know, so I'm just not even going to try to go back right now because it would be too time consuming for me. I can do it, but it takes a few minutes for me to readjust my thoughts and whatnot. But I don't know what to do. Certain things have to change, regardless of who gets elected. That's what we should be facing. That's what we should be focusing on. How to improve certain things. And I think one of the things that comes to mind with me is that there should be a plan in effect for the next pandemic, which, you know, we don't know if there is going to be one, but if there is, we should have some sort of plan in effect that keeps the economy floating, you know, keeps everything going. I know there's going to be some loss in revenue and whatnot, but we have to be able to keep the economy going, or you know, we're done for. Trump doesn't know how to do that. Trump is like like Cosa Nostra, like the mafia. When they take over a business, they suck it dry. Then they sell off its assets and the business disappears or files bankruptcy. That's what's happened when Trump goes bankrupt. I mean, he operates like a mafia don in that respect. Only, you know, most of the mafia don, and I have met two mafia dons in my lifetime, and they are much smarter than Donald Trump is. All right. They're like, what's the one in The Sopranos that's from New York? They're more like businessmen. That what you think businessmen, true businessmen are. That's what they are. You know? The problem is our business executives are more ruthless than the mafia dons that I met back in the day, you know? I went to school with all their kids. You know, if you ever watched The Sopranos, I lived in East Orange at that time. Right next to Newark, and I was in Newark, and I knew people from Newark, and I ran into these guys all the time. You'd see them, you know, you knew who they were. I've been by all those stores and whatnot that you see in the opening credits of The Sopranos. I was there. I knew what was going on. I didn't care. They didn't bother me. You know, they weren't shooting dead people dead in the street that didn't deserve to be shot. It was whether they were black or white. You know. But something has to happen. That's one of the things that concerns me about whoever comes next, because my problem with Donald Trump is that Donald Trump is going to be so busy getting his revenge and everything on everybody and running around playing Hitler and all this stuff that he's going to miss what's going on in the world. You know, I don't think he's never been a worldly politician, so I don't know what's going to happen there. You know, maybe someday somebody will listen to some of this stuff and say, you know what, he was right. He was a little right. I don't want to be real right. I just want to be a little right. You know what I mean? I'd like somebody to say, or I'd like somebody to jump on here and write a comment, you dumb shit. And I can argue with the guy, you know. But when I was a bartender, you know, you think of people always talking to their bartender. But one of the things they always told me anyhow, the guys that taught me how to tend bar, the restaurants I worked in, they always said one thing to me: don't talk two things, religion and politics, because there's no what they call empirical answer. They're all based upon opinion. You know, there's there's no right or wrong in religion. There's no, it's your opinion. You're Catholic, you believe what the Catholics tell you and everything like that. And if you're Jewish, you believe what the rabbis tell you and everything like that. You live your life that way. I have a problem with people telling me how to live my basic life, not my. I don't understand. I understand the morality situation. You don't do things that are immoral or stuff like that. But I have people that tell me it's you got to eat this way. You've got to do this. You got to believe this, or you don't. That bothers me because I kind of like to think what I want to think when I think it. You know what I mean? All right. I don't know how good I'm doing on these things. I hope occasionally somebody comes around and says something or sees something here. But I'll be back tomorrow for those of you who want to plan being someplace else. Take care.